All right, welcome everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into BanG Dream, Ave Mujica. We're going to be focusing on the first episode, and let me tell you, there is a lot to unpack.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got a masked musical group, Abyssmare. They're already making huge waves and are set to play the legendary Budokan.
Which, yeah, as anyone who knows Japanese music knows, that's a big deal.
It is a really, really big deal. Like, you've made it.
Exactly.
And then we also have Sakiko, who is this incredibly talented musician,
Okay.
and her life is intersecting with Abyssmare in some really interesting ways.
Yeah, in just that first episode already, like, dives right into the world of Abyssmare, and you can see they're on that, like, rocket ride to stardom.
Yeah.
And with that Budokan performance coming up, that's not just any concert.
No.
That's like the symbol,
Yeah.
like you said, that you've made it in Japanese music.
Right. It's like the summit of Mount Fuji
Yeah.
for musicians.
Absolutely.
And speaking of captivating, can we talk about Maurice for a minute?
Oh, please.
Abyssmare's lead singer. She's never seen without that mask. And the fans are going crazy with theories
Right.
about who she could be.
And I love that they even throw in that little
Oh, yeah.
hint towards Nyamuchi.
Like, could it be her?
Yeah.
Is this her?
It's that classic mystery. Keeps you guessing.
Right.
But it also makes you think about, like, image. Like, is Maurice maybe trying to do something different than what a typical idol might do? You know?
Yeah.
Like, kind of taking control of that image,
Interesting.
not letting it be manufactured.
Like, she's rejecting that whole manufactured persona thing.
Yeah, and just letting the music speak for itself.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
Like, judge me by my voice, not by my face.
Hmm.
Which you don't really see that a lot, I think, in idol music.
It's kind of a bold statement to make when so much of the industry is focused on looks.
It is.
Okay.
And talent.
Right.
And even the name Abyssmare, right?
Uh-huh.
It kind of gives you that sense that there's something more to this group.
Right. It's not just your average, bubbly idol group.
Yeah, definitely not.
So we've talked about Maurice, but what about the rest of Abyssmare?
Oh, they're fantastic.
We've got Dulles, who just commands the stage.
All the drama,
Mortis, like the quiet but still powerful.
the intensity.
Yeah, and Obvious, who just brings that like fun energy to every performance.
The energy's great.
I love how they all have such distinct personality.
They really do.
Yeah.
But then they blend together so well on stage.
Yeah.
They're so dedicated to putting on like a flawless show.
Right. It's more than just the music. It's like an experience.
Yeah, it's like they're creating a world for their fans.
Totally. It's like you step right into their musical fantasy.
Exactly.
Okay, but now let's switch gears a little and talk about Sakiko.
Oh, Sakiko.
She is so incredibly gifted musically,
She is.
but her life is just like one curveball after another.
It's rough.
I mean, difficult family situation, financial struggles, and then she loses her mom.
Her mom, who was her biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't help but feel for her, especially with everything else she's going through.
Right. And it's like her story just adds this whole other layer of emotion to the show.
It does.
You've got Abyssmare reaching for the stars, and then you have Sakiko trying to find her own way with all of these challenges.
Absolutely.
And you have to wonder how much did losing her mom, who really fostered her love for music, how much did that affect her path?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's just heartbreaking.
It is.
But it also makes her friendship with Uka even more special.
Yes.
Who also happens to be Abyssmare's manager.
Right.
Like, it's this nice little connection.
It's like they understand each other.
Yeah.
Weekend knows what Sakiko's going through and is there for her.
It's a good reminder that even in a competitive world like music, those genuine connections are so important.
Absolutely. They can make all the difference.
Okay, but speaking of challenges, have you ever felt pressured to live up to someone else's expectations?
Oh, all the time.
Even if it meant, like, giving up on your own dreams.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Sakiko's really going through that, especially with her dad.
Her dad is a whole other thing.
I know. It's like he's pushing all of his own, like, unfulfilled dreams onto her.
Projecting. Big time.
Yeah, and that's just adding so much pressure.
Way too much.
And we find out that she even had to give up classical music
Which she clearly loved.
to help support her family.
That's a huge sacrifice.
It really is, and it just shows a lot about her character.
It does. Like, it's easy to get caught up in, the excitement of Abyssmare and their rise to fame. But Sakiko's story reminds us that there's a lot of, like, hidden struggle behind the scenes for a lot of artists.
It really makes you appreciate the dedication and resilience it takes to actually pursue a dream.
Absolutely.
Especially when life just keeps throwing those curveballs.
It's true.
So we've got Abyssmare, right? Striving for this symbolic victory at Budokan. And then we've got Sakiko navigating her own personal challenges, and all of their paths are about to intersect.
At this legendary concert.
It's going to be big.
It is.
But even with all of that excitement around Budokan, there's this underlying tension.
Right. Definitely.
Like even Sakiko's friend Tamori, who we find out isn't comfortable in crowds,
Oh, that's right.
makes an effort to be there.
That's how important this event is.
It shows you just how big of a deal this is.
Like everyone's drawn to it.
Yeah, this moment where dreams and reality are colliding.
And speaking of collisions,
Oh.
Maurice's mask, it starts to slip.
Literally and figuratively.
During the Budokan performance.
The pressure is on.
Yeah, like all that pressure and, the weight of her secrets, it all becomes too much.
And then there's that moment
Ooh, which moment?
where Sakiko, she seems to recognize who's behind the mask.
You see it in her eyes.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it changes everything.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, it's not just a concert anymore. It's about secrets and identities.
And choices.
Yeah, the choices we make when we're faced with the truth.
Big choices.
So that's kind of where we're going to leave it for now. But don't worry, we're going to come back and delve deeper into all of the implications of Maurice's mask, Sakiko's realization, and what this all means for these characters and their intertwined destinies.
We have a lot more to discuss.
We do, so stay tuned. So we left off with that huge moment of Maurice's mask slipping, both literally and figuratively, during the Budokan performance.
Yeah, and the way the episode shows that,
Oh my gosh.
with those flashing lights and the music, it really makes you feel that overwhelm.
Yeah, it's like you're right there with her.
Like you're losing yourself in all of it.
And then knowing that Sakiko's in the audience,
Right.
potentially knowing who's behind that mask.
Adds a whole other level.
It's so intense.
It really does.
It's like ticking time bomb.
Yeah, waiting for it to explode.
And it just makes you rethink Maurice's whole reason for wearing the mask in the first place.
Right. Is it really all about artistic integrity like we talked about before? Or is there something more, something she's hiding from?
Right.
I think it's deeper than that.
I'm leaning towards she's trying to protect herself.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Think about it. Her stage name, Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your typical idol name.
No, it's different.
It's like she's separating herself from that whole scene.
It's like she's saying, this is my art,
Yes.
but it's not all of who I am.
Exactly.
It's like a separate identity.
And that makes Sakiko's discovery
Oh my gosh.
even more powerful.
Because now she has this huge secret.
Right, about someone she looks up to.
Yeah, someone she admires. And it's like, what does she do with that?
It's a big decision.
It is. It's like, does she tell anyone?
Does she confront Maurice?
I don't know. It would be such a tough situation.
And for Sakiko, especially with everything else she's dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. How do you support someone when you know they're not being totally honest?
Right, even if you understand why they might be doing it.
And who knows what would happen if the truth came out?
That's the thing.
It could ruin Abyssmare.
Yeah, they're fans. Maurice herself.
It would change everything.
And this is all happening in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Where the idol industry has its own,
No.
exactly, its own way of doing things.
So a masked performer, that's pretty rebellious,
It is. It's challenging those norms.
It really makes you think about how we view authenticity, not even just in music, but in life.
In general.
Are we ever really being ourselves, or are we always performing in some way?
I mean, we all wear masks, right? Figuratively speaking, in different situations.
That's we have to.
It's how we navigate the world, but it's
Right, but where's the line?
yeah, where's that line between protecting yourself and straight up deceiving people?
Exactly. And what happens when those masks slip?
Like we see with Maurice.
Does it lead to something good, or is it just chaos?
That's what makes this show so interesting.
It really is.
It's not just cute girls and music. It's deeper than that.
Yeah, they're exploring identity, truth, all those big things.
And those choices we make when things get tough.
They took this familiar idol formula and they made it something more.
They gave it depth.
Yeah, it really makes you want to see what happens next.
You're invested.
I am.
This first episode, it's just the beginning.
Right, they're setting us up for some really interesting stuff.
Definitely.
And it makes you think about Sakiko's journey differently, too.
Oh, how so?
She's not just this musician trying to make it. She's a symbol of resilience.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I see that.
She's dealing with these relationships, staying true to herself.
Oh, well, everything is just...
Crazy.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Her story next to Abyssmare's It shows us that even with all the, spectacle and the illusions, the most powerful stories are the ones that are honest.
The ones that are real.
Exactly.
It's interesting how this episode can go from those really high-energy performances to these quieter, more thoughtful moments.
Yeah, you get both sides, the spectacle and the reality behind it.
Right. And it makes me think about Sakiko giving up classical music.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it was just about the money, or was there maybe something more to it?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Like maybe she felt a little trapped by the classical world, all the rules and stuff.
I could see that.
And then she sees Abyss Mare, they're doing their own thing, breaking the rules.
Right. That freedom must have been appealing.
Yeah, even if it meant facing different challenges.
Exactly.
And now she knows about Maurice, about the mask.
Yeah, I wonder how that will change things for her.
Will it push her to be even more herself? Or will it make her, doubt everything?
Ooh, that's interesting. It could go either way, right? It's like the episode is making us question everything,
Yeah, not just about Maurice.
but about identity in general.
Who are we when the masks come off? Does it even matter if we're being true to our art?
Big questions.
It makes you think.
It does. And these questions, they go way beyond just the show.
Oh, for sure.
Like, we all create these personas, right?
Yeah.
Online, in real life, it's how we present ourselves,
Yeah, but how much of that is really us?
right? Where does the real you end and the performance begin?
And is it even a bad thing? I mean, we all have different sides to us.
We do.
Maybe it's more about finding that balance, being okay with all those different versions of ourselves, but not losing sight of who we really are.
That's a great point. It's not always about just taking off the mask and showing the world everything.
Yeah, it's more complicated than that.
It is. It's about being aware of the choices we make, Why are we putting on this mask? Does it feel right?
And sometimes those masks, they can become too much.
Oh, definitely, like with Maurice.
It's like they get in the way of connecting with people.
Yeah, but they can also be a way to protect yourself, especially in a world that can be harsh.
That's true. It's tough. There's no easy answer.
Nope, and that's what makes this show so good. It doesn't try to tell you what's right or wrong.
Right. It just shows us these characters and their struggles, and we get to figure it out for ourselves.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm really excited to see where this show goes.
Me too.
This first episode, it feels like we've just scratched the surface.
It does. There's so much more to explore.
And it's a reminder that even behind all the flash and the excitement, there are real people with real feelings.
Yeah, trying to figure things out.
Trying to achieve their dream.
And facing challenges.
Exactly. And maybe that's the biggest thing we can take away from this.
What's that?
Whether you're on a big stage or just living your life, we all wear masks, we all face challenges, and it's the choices we make that really matter in the end.
That's a good way to put it.
So next time you put on a mask, think about the story behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and what will you choose to reveal?